everyone, I'm Virginia Killmore and welcome to my studio. Today is Template Thursday, which means we'll be using a predetermined layout to help us design our card. It makes it super fast and easy to do, and we'll get started on that right away. I just want to remind you, I've been talking about this all week long. In the Syracuse newspaper on Saturday, I saw a gentleman trying to get Valentine Day cards to people living in nursing homes all over central New York. And I thought, wow, I have tons of cards sitting around, so I'm going to participate. If you think you're interested, please check out the link that I've added to this post, or go to the Facebook post that I have where I explain all about it. All you have to do is put a card in the mail saying Operation Valentine and pick your nursing home, and someone will get your beautiful card. What a great way to make someone's day and make someone feel special and loved. So let's get started. So this is today's card, and it uses Ombre paper, which is a 6x6 pack, and I love the colors that it comes in. It comes in Bermuda Bay, Blackberry Bliss, Granny Apple Green, and Rococo Rose. We're going to use Blackberry Bliss for this card today, and it's nice because it has patterned and just plain paper with an ombre pattern on it. It's hard to see in this packet, but I'll show you what I mean. This is what the paper looks like. So it goes from light to dark, and then the opposite side is the Granny Apple Green. So I cut up some of the pattern paper and some of the solid paper to make the card, and I used, these are the template that I used. See how that's laid out? Now it doesn't tell you what to put on here, and I could have just stuck with that, but I wanted some kind of interesting layout. I forgot to zoom out. Here's everything you're going to need to use that, and I always post it when I'm done with the video. So as well as the information for your Valentine's Day card. So basically what we have to do is cut these pieces, which are already done, I pre-cut, and then stamp these pieces. And so I'm going to start out by punching some of these ovals. You know I love this double oval punch. I've been using it all week long. And I'm just going to punch out the bottom oval or the top oval, depending on how you're looking at the punch. So now I just need 3, and I'm going to show you a neat little trick. And then I also need to punch out some Whisper White and stamp on it. Now I can pre-stamp and then punch, but I actually think it's easier to first punch the image. And it's just hard if you have too thick of a cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead, and I like it when I have a little bit thinner piece. You know what? I think I'm going to stamp first because I know what's going to happen. I'm not going to be happy with what I have. So I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper, and lay that right out here. We'll put our template up here so that you can still see it in our card. And I'm going to start stamping some images from A Touch of Ink, one of my very favorite sets. The sayings are beautiful, and I love the fact that there's line art and then colored in art that looks like a watercolor. It's just a beautiful set. It has 2 full sheets of stamps, the line art on one and then the fill-in on the other. And I've used it over and over already. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my leaves on this one, my bird or hummingbird, one of my favorite animals, right on this one. And this is just scrap pieces I got laying around. I'm going to stamp the flowers here. And now I can just take my punch and cut them out, and I will stamp the sentiment shortly. So what I'm going to do is just slide that in there and sort of see what I like. Oops, I forgot I'm doing it with a big one. So that makes it a little easier. The reason I'm doing it with a big one is you get a lot more surface area so you can see more of it. If I use the little one, I'll show you, you lose so much of the bird, it's really not fun. So I'm going to get him just how I want him. There, that looks good. And then one last cut. Sorry, I have to throw that piece out. I think I'm going to turn that. I like to sometimes turn the stamp, not the way that you would see it, but in an interesting way to show off the stamp set. So now what I need to do is glue these to the background, but obviously they're not going to fit because they're exactly the same size. So let me show you my little quick tip. I'm going to cut them all in half, and then I'm going to glue them on. There we go. That'll make things really nice. And what I like to do is just take a little bit of glue on both sides, and I'm going to do it on all of them because this glue can dry and it still works. But again, look at how little glue I use. And now I take and pick up one side the way I like it. Get that on there, and then pick up the other side. And then just make sure it all lines up the way I like, because sometimes it doesn't quite line up, so you want to take your time to really get it to look the way you want it. If you have a little tip sticking out, you can always trim that. I'm not liking this little tip that I have here. I'm just going to cut it off. There. Just might be easier to pick it up. You could use tape runner. A lot of people love the tape, but I am a glue gal. I like the ability to move things around at the last minute because I'm never quite happy with what I do. So I'm always futzing. Same thing here. I think I'm going to cut that. I think I should do that with all the tips because it really does make a little difference. Sorry, you can't see that, I'm sure. Okay, and then the last one, and then all I have to do is put some dimensional on there, and I can put my card together. So while those are drying, I'm going to add my dimensionals. This one, for some reason, just sits really good. Doesn't seem to need it. So I'm going to flip those over and put dimensionals on them while I'm waiting for it to dry. And it actually works as a way to hold your pieces in place. Oh, look at how crooked that is. I just want to check and make sure I didn't accidentally not want that, because sometimes they move when you're working on them. That is the downfall of glue. Okay, so we're going to set these apart. We now need to put our card together and also stamp that. So I'm going to start with my Bliss, Blackberry Bliss cardstock and get that glued down. This is a trick that I learned years ago that I love. You just sort of stand it up like you were getting it all in order, and it seems to just come together really nicely. Now I don't need that. What I do need to do is stamp. And if you do have the ombre effect showing, you want it to work the opposite direction, so from the dark to the light edges. This one is really dramatic. So now the only thing I have left to do as far as stamping is to stamp my sentiment here. Hopefully I can get that nice and straight. It's pretty good. Because that one, if you don't get it straight, you're sort of stuck with it. I always tell people, if you're nervous about getting something straight, go super crooked, then it looks like you meant it. So what I like to do is sort of get these two ends set, and then it's real easy to get that one in order. So I'm going to glue those first, because then you have just the spacing between the ones in the middle. So you get your spacing up around here just right. And then it's just a matter of spacing the bottom piece or the middle piece between it. You do want to try to line this up, but again, it's a handmade card. People are so ridiculous sometimes about how careful they are. Okay, so now this one's simple because I just have to look between here and then over here. You can see I need to come down just a tad, sort of have it spaced. Okay, so I've got my card laid out the way I like it. I use this template. We'll set that over here. And now it's just time to put down my decorative pieces. And they are going to go staggered. And of course, the last thing I always like to do is add a little bling. Bling is always fun. So I'm going to use Opal rounds with that. They're brand new and I've been using them like crazy. I think they're beautiful. They're just so nice how they sit. And I always like to do things in numbers of 3. I call it the rule of 3. So there you have it. Today's card wasn't too hard, using the designer series paper, Oh So Ombre, and then the stamp set Touch of Ink. I hope you enjoyed, and don't forget, if you're interested in doing a Valentine's Day card for a senior, look for my post on Facebook or at the bottom of the description today. I'll have a link to that. So make someone's day and send them a card today. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.